like and subscribe for more. Because some nights, love doesn't end with a kiss. It ends with the truth you are too scared to say out loud. You know what hurts the most? It's not even the fighting. It's not the raised voices, or the silence after, or the way two people can stand so close to each other and still feel miles apart. It's the moment you realize something changed, and the person you love is pretending it didn't. I've been trying so hard not to say anything, trying to be patient, trying to be understanding, trying not to be that girlfriend. But ever since that day in the cafe, ever since we saw her, your ex, you haven't been the same. And don't even try to tell me I'm imagining it, because I know you. I know the way your face looks when you're stressed. I know the way your hand feels when you're distracted. I know the difference between you being tired and you being somewhere else. And lately, you've been somewhere else. I keep replaying that moment in my head. We were just having a normal afternoon, remember? It was nothing special. Just coffee, lazy conversation. The kind of day I thought I'd remember because it was soft and easy and ours. You were smiling. Actually smiling. Your hand was around your cup, and you were looking at me like you didn't have anywhere else to be. And then you saw her. I noticed it before you even said anything. Your whole body changed. It was subtle, so subtle that maybe nobody else would have picked up on it. But I did. Your shoulders stiffened. Your eyes locked for just a second too long. Your mouth parted like you forgot what you were saying. And then you said her name. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like it slipped out before you could stop it. I remember smiling at first. God, that's the embarrassing part. I smiled because I thought, okay, awkward, sure, but harmless. People run into exes. It happens. It doesn't have to mean anything. I really wanted to be cool about it. I wanted to be secure, mature, unbothered. So when she came over and said hi, I sat there and acted normal. I even tried to be polite. I listened while you two did that weird little dance of pretending not to know too much about each other, while obviously knowing way too much. And I watched you. That was my mistake. Because once I started watching, I couldn't stop noticing things. The way your voice changed. The way you laughed at things that weren't even funny. The way you sat up straighter. The way your eyes kept flicking back to her even after she walked away. And the worst part? You looked shaken. Not annoyed. Not indifferent. Not relieved it was over. Shaken. Like someone had opened a door you thought was locked. I told myself not to overthink it. I did. I told myself maybe it was just weird timing. Maybe it brought back memories, and that doesn't mean feelings. Memories are not the same thing as love. I know that. I do. But then we left the cafe, and you got quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Not comfortable quiet. That distant kind of quiet that feels like someone else joined the room, and suddenly there's no space for you anymore. I asked if you were okay. You said, yeah. I asked if seeing her was weird. You shrugged and said, not really. Not really. Do you know how cruel that sounds now? Because if it was not really, then why did everything change after that? Why did you stop reaching for me first? Why did your texts get shorter? Why did you start staring off in the middle of conversations like I was talking to a wall wearing your face? Why did I have to start wondering if every silence had her name in it? That's what's been eating me alive. Not knowing. Because when someone cheats, at least the pain has a shape. When someone lies badly, at least you can point to it. But this is like trying to hold smoke. I can feel it. I can see what it's doing. But every time I try to grab it, you just tell me nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Then why do I feel like I'm losing you in slow motion? You know what I hate? I hate that I started comparing myself to her. I hate that. I hate that after all the work it took to love myself, to feel confident, to feel safe with you, one random afternoon in one stupid cafe was enough to crack something open inside me. I started wondering things I never used to wonder. Was she prettier than me to you? Did she know some version of you that I don't? When you looked at her, were you remembering the good parts and forgetting whatever made you end? And the ugliest thought of all, did you ever really stop loving her? I didn't want to ask you that, because once you ask a question like that, you can't take it back. It changes the room. It changes everything. So I waited. I gave you chances. I tried to make it easy. I asked if you wanted to talk. I asked if something was on your mind. I asked if we were okay. And every single time you kissed my forehead, or pulled me close, or gave me some soft little half answer that sounded comforting enough to stop the conversation, but not honest enough to settle it. That's what made me angry. Not just the distance, the cowardice, because if you had just looked at me and said, "I'm confused," I would have respected that. If you'd said, "Seeing her stirred something up, and I hate that it did," I would have been hurt, but at least I would have known I was standing with someone honest. But instead, you let me sit in it. You let me feel crazy. You let me question myself while you walked around carrying whatever it was and pretending it wasn't there. Do you know how lonely that feels? To be lying next to someone you love and feel them somewhere far away, to hear them say, "I'm here," while every instinct in your body says they're not. It makes you needy in ways you don't want to be. You start listening too closely, reading into tiny things, counting how long it takes them to answer, wondering why their smile doesn't reach their eyes, wondering if they're thinking of you when they touch you, or someone else when they don't. And I hated who I became in those moments. I hated the suspicious version of me, the insecure version, the version that looked at your face while you slept and tried to solve a mystery instead of feeling safe. So yes, I'm confronting you now because I can't keep swallowing this just to keep the peace. I can't keep pretending I don't notice the way your whole energy shifts when her ghost walks into the room. I can't keep being gentle with a truth that is cutting me open. So look at me. No, really look at me and tell me the truth. Did seeing her bring your feelings back? Because if it did, say it. if part of you started wondering about her again, say it. If seeing her reopened something unfinished, say it. If you've been distant because you're confused, say it. But do not stand there and insult me with another "nothing's wrong." I saw your face. I saw the way you went quiet after. I saw the way you checked her social media when you thought I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, you didn't know I saw that, did you? Just once, maybe twice, maybe more than that. And before you start explaining, before you say it didn't mean anything, ask yourself why you hid it. People don't hide harmless things. They hide things that matter. And what kills me is that I don't even think you wanted this. I don't think you were sitting there hoping to feel something. I don't think you planned for old emotions to come back and make a mess of us. That's what makes this harder, because it would almost be easier if you were just cruel. But you're not cruel. You're confused. You're guilty. You're scared. And somehow that makes me feel even worse, because it means part of you is still split between what you had and what you have, between her memory and me. Do you understand how humiliating that is? To love someone and suddenly feel like you're competing with a version of the past that doesn't even exist anymore. I can't fight nostalgia. I can't fight what if. I can't fight old chemistry polished by time and distance and selective memory. How am I supposed to win against something that only exists in your head? I'm real. I'm here. I'm the one who knows how you take your coffee. I'm the one who listens when your voice gets quiet at night. I'm the one who stayed, who learned you, who loved you in the ordinary moments when life wasn't cinematic or dramatic or exciting. And if that still isn't enough, when one glance from her can throw you off like this, then what am I doing here? No, don't touch me right now, because if you touch me before you answer, I know exactly what you're doing. You'll try to soften it. You'll try to make me feel loved enough to stop asking the hard question. But I don't want comfort right now. I want honesty, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. Did you miss her? When you saw her, did some part of you miss her? Because I think that's the truth, isn't it? Not that you want to run back to her, not that you stopped loving me overnight, but that seeing her reminded you of a version of yourself, a chapter of your life, a feeling, and for one awful second, maybe longer, you missed it. And instead of telling me that, you buried it. You let it sit between us. You let it poison the room. That's why we're here. Not because feelings are simple, not because the past never matters, but because you shut me out.